Chapter 6. The pillow over my head was yanked off, and fresh air cooled my snotty, tear-stained face. I felt a sweep of long hair against my wrist. "Honestly, Mai, have you really been up here since I left?" I sniffed ineffectively, and ended up hiding the stream of snot from nose to sheets with my hand. "No." Ayako handed me a packet of tissues from her pocket. I tore it open. She watched with puckered eyebrows as I unplugged my head plumbing and cleaned up. "This case is really getting to you, isn't it? Do you have a bad experience with babies or something?" "For your information, I had the pillow over my head to block out the crying, and the baby crying can get to anyone." "What crying?" Sure enough, the moment Ayako had lifted off the pillow, the crying had stopped. I sniffed again. She clicked her tongue. "Really, Mai, you need to do something about how invested you get with spirits in our case. For your own sake, if not for ours." "But," I covered my eyes, more than a little ashamed at being caught in my moment of pure pathetic. "They were just innocent little babies, and they were roasted over a fire and used for—" "But they were already dead," said Ayako. "They weren't alive to feel the fire. Most of their spirits were probably long gone before they could even be turned into a talisman." "But then why do we hear crying babies? Babies who were never born, never had a chance to cry or even to know how to?" "Babies don't need to be taught how to cry. They are born instinctively knowing how, just as they can kick and squirm and eat." Ayako gave me a sad little smile. "Stop doing this to yourself, Mai-chan. They are okay. We are okay. And even though he's a sociopathic brat, I'm pretty sure Naru really thought seeing them would help you feel better, so don't hate on him either. It's making him twitchy." I perked up. "Really?" Ayako tilted back on my bed to laugh. "That got you up, didn't it?" I pouted. "You lied to me? Jeez, don't mess with me like that. Like hell he'd care about upsetting me, otherwise he wouldn't do it all the time. There's a difference between teasing and actually hurting, even you know that. Now, come on, Monk's worried about you, and I think you should see John release the babies. It will help you find some peace." "But I mean it. Don't get so worked up again. We're supposed to be professionals." The corner of my mouth twitched and I blew one last time into a tissue. "I take it I'm not supposed to mention how you and Takigawa squabble like children at every case you have together, right?" At the "I'm going to strangle you" look, I added, "Hey, you teased me first. This is fair game." But I agreed to come down after a quick wash of my face, and Ayako left. Hoping that the cool water had helped with the redness, book characters always wash their face after a good cry. There had to be reason to it other than to wash up the snot. I had just patted my face dry when a loud shout of pain made me jump. "Ayako!" The shout turned to a low, grating scream. I spun out of the bathroom, ice lacing my veins. I could hear the others yelling to each other. The maroon carpet dug up between my toes, as though to suck them into place. I reached the landing. Ayako had collapsed into herself in the middle of the hall, right before the lines of boxes, her arms in a vice-like grip around her middle. A puddle of red blood dribbled down around her knees. My legs didn't stop, but my mind remained frozen in horror at the top of the stairs. Blood shouldn't flow that fast. It was the first time I had seen John in 2 weeks, and his face had turned pale beneath his golden hair. The tiny bottle of holy water dripped feebly from the stopper of his thumb. Ayako dropped to her knees, gagging on a fresh scream. "John, wake up!" At Naru's shout, John jumped, eyes wide as coins. He turned from the box he had been facing to Ayako, hand of holy water shaking as the blood around her feet reached across the polished oak boards not covered by the oriental carpet. "O Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name." In far too long a time I reached her, arms going wide to take hold of her, just to be stopped by Naru's arms around my waist. "Hold it! She's dying! She's dying!" "Lin, get the car!" Takigawa yelled. "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." "Naru, save her! She's dying!" Takigawa flew in to sweep her up in his arms, smearing blood over his long blue sleeves. Blood dripped a trail from her heels all the way to the door, with John hot on their heels, flinging the water in a cross upon Ayako. "Give us this day our daily bread." Ayako gave a harsh gasp for breath, so loud I could hear it from within the house. The engine of the van started up with a sleepy growl. A cold draft blew in to sweep the metallic tinge of blood into my face. There was so much in a neat, shiny puddle. Monk had even somehow managed to avoid stepping in it as he had picked her up. Naru's arm yanked hard on me, stopping my breath. Outside, Mai. But the van, they're already gone. Just get outside, damn it. I faltered, and in my moment of shock, Naru half-dragged, half-carried me across the threshold. A numb buzzing had filled my head. Naru didn't swear. He just didn't. Nor did he get scared. Ever. And it didn't stop there. Once out on the gravel, he pulled me until we had crossed the elaborate gardens and reached the end of the driveway, where he yanked me up against a large, bare-branched elm and switched his vice-like grip to my arms. Never lose it like that again and say someone's dying, Mai. You could have made everyone waste precious time in panicking. Lucky for you they kept their heads. Stop yelling. I'll yell if I damn... He stopped and blinked. The sharp cut to his face that turned his eyes to stone fell, and he looked down at his hands on my arms, as though unsure of whose hands they were. The quiet that followed his release of me crinkled with the snow beneath his feet. Only then did I realize just how pale he had gotten, almost as white as the snow. If he was angry, shouldn't it have been flushed? With a quick sigh through his nose, he ran a hand through his hair. Stay put while I go get a phone. You are not to step a foot into the house. But what about you? I'll be fine. You always say that. I don't have a uterus, he said bluntly. No ghost fetus will know what to do with a man's body. I could feel my face go slack. You mean Ayako? Don't jump to conclusions. You obviously are, and don't you dare give me your I'm smart excuse. Fine. I don't want you near those things, and I don't want you staying out here without a coat, Happy. I also thought you'd prefer to keep in touch with the others. Don't put it like that. You want to keep in touch with them, too. I thought that was a given. It was, but your passive-aggressive act is pissing me off. Mai... He took a step in, closing off the little space left between us, and put his hands to either side of my face. The intimacy of the touch would have startled me if not for his words. Calm down. Everything's okay. No, it's not okay. Naru, she's dying. My voice cracked like a twig underfoot. She's dying. So much blood. I didn't know human beings even had that much blood in them, let alone be able to bleed that much through genes within seconds without their guts following after. We don't know that. Now breathe with me. Your pupils are dilating too quickly. In, out, in. What's that supposed to mean? It means you're having an intense panic attack, he said. Now breathe with me or you're going to... Whatever he meant to say got swallowed up in a dark tunnel from nowhere. Chapter 6